Hi, my name is Ali. I am the owner of Kokoro Crafts and the sole creator of all the products that you'll find on my website. Um, I wanted to go over a little today over how I make the watch bands. But first, I want to introduce you. This is my little crafting corner. Please don't mind Celestia. She's a work in progress. So she has a couple things I'm still working on with her. This is my sewing machine. It's where most of my magic happens with the watch bands. As I went over in other parts of this, I do not make my wristbands in-house. Unfortunately, the printing and sewing process of these is just more consistent and better quality done out of house. My sewing machine is a workhorse, but the way these are put together, the adhesive that is used, does not agree with my machine. And I find the quality is much, much better when taken from a manufacturer. So these do arrive pre-done to me. I quality check them and make sure everything is good to go and the sizing is accurate and the colors are accurate. Watch bands, however, I do from the wristbands in-house. I have tried multiple things, and I know they're still a work in progress. Everyone is wanting different sizing options and ability to adjust the sizing, which I truly would love to give to you. It is not feasible as of yet. I'm working on some things that I think might work. I ordered this a while ago. This is how I make most of my watch bands that I wear on the daily. This is my non-binary design in the elastic, but it is many, many yards of it. I have been using this for experiments and trying to figure out what works best for watch bands. So I know a lot of people are trying to find adjustable ones. I am working on that. It's just not quite working the way I want yet. Plus, with that much yardage, it's a bit more on the expensive side, so I would have to raise the price of the watch bands in order to reflect that. So as of currently, what do I do for my watch bands? I take the pre-done wristband and I create a one size fits most watch band. Has little folded over edges. This one, I can do it either way, where it says proud on the outside or it has the flag on the outside. Or with the character designs, it can be either way. Most popular, obviously, is having the flag on the outside. That's how I do mine usually. So I wanted to go over a little bit of how they function, and then I will do a video. I will do a clip on how I actually make them. So I have both Apple Watch and Samsung Watch options. This is an Apple Watch that no longer functions. I don't even know what model it is. But the Apple Watch band just snaps in place like that. And I actually have upgraded my, they are no longer fixed Apple Watch connectors. The connectors now are spring-loaded. So that means that when you get an Apple Watch connector from me, you can order as many bands as you would like and you can swap between them. So the Apple Watch connector, and I can go over this more after the how I make the wristbands themselves. But it is a little spring-loaded bar. I know that's really hard to see. Spring-loaded bar that goes into this piece here. It's a little finicky, but I just use my nail to get it spring-loaded right in there. This means that whenever you order, like I said, Apple Watch bands from me, you can swap them out. With my Samsung bands, they're also a little different, and a lot of people are very confused when they first get them. This is the Samsung watch I wear on the daily. Inherited it from my sister. It's hard to see, but there is a little nub there that I push down to then release that. This is a separate piece, so when you get a package from me, you will get the wristband itself and then 2 of these spring bars. Very simple to just slide them in, kind of grip them between the fabric, push one end in, and then you got got that nub right there, that then you can push that nub down. And, well, did I not line it up right? I did not line it up right. So it was a little finicky at first, but you line up that hole. And then it goes right in. So yes, it does take a little bit getting to know your watch band, or your watch face, honestly. But once they're on, they're secure. They're not going anywhere. So if anyone has any questions over that, I'm more than happy to answer those. And I'll do a closer up video of how that's done, because I know seeing it with my hands and my face is not the same. But as of right now, like I said, they're stretchy, so it's one size fits most. They come out at around 5.5 to 5 3/4 inches, depending on if you get Apple hardware or not. I can definitely make them smaller, because as I will explain when I make these, I can make them smaller. I am limited to the pre-mades right now. Again, I'm trying to work and see if I can get better pricing on not pre-mades. But as of right now, the pre-mades are the way it goes, and so I'm limited to up to 5.5 inches for the wristband themselves. If you have smaller wrists, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am more than happy to make a smaller wristband. Super easy for me to do. Smaller watch band, that is. Super easy for me to do. I just don't use the full length of this. So any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love my watch bands. I wear mine daily. It's just a work in progress to find something that works for everyone. Okay, so what I've got here in front of me are an Apple Watch, a Samsung watch, which is also the style that Fitbit usually uses as well, which is just a spring bar. There are adapters out there. I know someone ordered recently who had a Fitbit, and I was able to point them to an Amazon adapter, kind of like I have for the Apple Watch, that worked for their Fitbit. So the Samsung or Fitbit is pretty standard, straightforward spring bar, which just has a little nub on it right here, and you use that to push the spring up and down. This part of the bar is solid and just slips into the holes. So for stringing it, I just put this into the hole of my watch band. I push it into the hole of the watch face. It's a little finicky. There is that bar right here. Push that down and then put my band into place. Give it a tug to make sure it's in both holes. And that's how I put that on my Samsung. Apple Watch obviously is a little bit easier. Apple Watch has the slide grip to slide that in and out, and usually when I send out Apple Watch bands, I have the Apple connector already pre-installed. However, if I send you multiple watch bands, oftentimes I will not install at least one of them, so that you can see that it is just a spring bar, so you can swap out your Apple Watch band as needed. So you can buy multiple designs from me and use the same connector. So how do I make these watch bands? Well, I'm going to show you. Set all that aside. I take my finish wristband and I chop it up. So we are going to go ahead and make one today. We just top off that little heart tag. I have taken them apart before and actually pulled the tag off. There's a lot of glue under that tag, so it is very, very sticky. When I sew, I use these lovely little clips. These are my favorite thing. Okay. This is a standard sized one. This is as big as I can usually get them, so I like to just compare it to make sure I'm not folding over too much material. I also don't think I can show this on camera, but I do use a lighter to sear the ends and just make sure that nothing unravels there. And that just makes sure it's not going to unravel and fall apart on you as you wear it. So we're going to take and we're just going to make a rainbow band. We're just going to fold over just a little bit here. My machine needs a little more to grab onto. Okay. And then fold over the same over here. Now we compare that to make sure that I'm not making it too extra small so that someone who's expecting a 5.5-inch band gets one that's way smaller. All right. Then we take it over to my machine, which is already preloaded with black basic thread, and now we're over here at the sewing machine. Now these are a little thick, so I do take them off. I end up holding it, and we just put it right under my sewing needle, and we sew a little band. Takes a couple passes just to make sure that it's sturdy. A couple passes this way because it doesn't like that side. And there we are. And then we're just going to trim off the ends here. If you can't tell, I don't usually video myself doing these things. Well, there we go. Okay. So now we're left with this little thing, and I'm just going to pull on these to make sure that thread is good and tight. Usually is. I usually don't have to worry about that. Like I said, my machine is a pretty good workhorse. Trim off these excess strings again. Little ends, and sometimes you're left with just a that's a little loose thread. Okay, sometimes you're left with just a little, if I put that in focus, just a little like tail there. So again, I just take my lighter and I just melt those ends. So now you're left with a very clean watch band turnover, and there's not too much of an edge, so there's not much to catch on or itch when you wear it. And we do the same for the other side, and then you're left with a nice clean watch band. And that's pretty much it. I attach the Apple Watch connector if I need to, or send it out as is. Thanks so much for watching.